Hey everyone, there's a huge shift happening right now in our digital lives. We're all starting to move away from those giant one-size-fits-all platforms and towards something way more focused. So today, we're going to build the playbook for creating your very own thriving niche community. And this quote right here, it gets right to the heart of the problem. Let's be honest, users are completely exhausted. We're all tired of the endless noise, the algorithm chasing, and what's being called AI slop, that endless stream of low-quality AI-generated stuff flooding our feeds. But that feeling of being overwhelmed, that's precisely what's creating this massive new opportunity. Now check out this number, 2 hours and 40 minutes. That's how much time, on average, we spend on social media every single day. But here's the real shift for 2026. That time isn't about mindless, passive scrolling anymore. Nope. It's now about active searching. Gen Z and Alpha, they're already using social platforms as their go-to search engines. So what does that mean? Well, if people are actively searching for real answers and real connection, this isn't some crisis for creators and brands. It's a huge opportunity. This move towards smaller, specialized communities, it isn't a retreat. It's more like a gold rush for anyone who can provide actual value. So, what does this new kind of community even look like? This right here, this is the answer. It's called the digital third space. Just think of it as the ultimate anti-everything app. It's a place built for a specific purpose, for a specific group of people who want expert answers and, this is the most important part, authentic human-made content. It's less of a giant, noisy public square and way more of a high-value digital clubhouse. Which, of course, brings us to the big question for you. With users actively looking for these spaces, how do you actually build one? I mean, how do you capture a loyal audience that the big platforms are just too broad to really serve? Well, that's exactly what we're about to break down. Okay, let's get into the playbook, the practical stuff. You can pretty much forget everything you thought you knew about just posting content. In 2026, building a community that actually sticks around, well, it all boils down to 3 new, really powerful rules. So here they are, the 3 rules. First, you've got to solve the discovery versus connection problem. That's how you get people in the door, and then how you convince them to stay. Second, you have to prioritize what we're calling proof of humanity, especially in this age of AI. And third, everything you do needs to be built for social SEO. Let's dive into what each of these really means. Okay, rule number 1. It's all about understanding that getting people to find you and getting them to stick around are 2 totally different jobs. For discovery, you use the loud tools, right? Like a megaphone. Think short-form video, things that pull people in from the outside. But for connection, that's where you create these cozy, private spaces like forums or chats where people actually feel like they belong. You have to get great at both. Now, rule 2. This might be the most important one of all. In a world that's getting flooded with AI content, proving you're a real human is basically your superpower. This means doing things like hosting live Q&As, showing your unedited process, or if you're a company, putting the real faces of your team front and center. That unfiltered human interaction, that's becoming the new mark of quality and trust. It's your most valuable currency. And that brings us to rule 3. You've got to remember, people are searching. So a vague post like, check out our new community, that's like throwing a message in a bottle into the ocean. You're just hoping someone stumbles upon it. A great post, on the other hand, is written like a search result. It's a direct answer to a question using the exact keywords your audience is already typing in. You have to stop broadcasting and start answering. All right, so we've got the 3 core rules down. But how you actually use them really depends on who you are. The strategy for a big company is going to look very different from the playbook for a solo creator. So let's take a look at those specific approaches right now. So this table here breaks it down really nicely. For companies, the focus should be on treating the community as a value center, a hub for customer feedback, for R&D, and for gathering that priceless first-party data. Growth comes from empowering your own employees to be advocates. For individuals, though, your advantage is agility and relatability. Growth can come from something as simple as a 3-post rule, like 1 post that teaches, 1 that shares a personal story, and 1 that asks a question to get people talking. And monetization is way more flexible, using a mix of subscriptions, tips, maybe some direct sales instead of just relying on ads. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I'm not a developer. I can't just build an app. Well, let's have a quick technical reality check, because it's probably a whole lot easier than you think. So here's the great news for 2026. You don't have to code this from scratch. There are amazing no-code tools out there like Circle, or even a really well-structured Discord can be the perfect home for your community. But the most critical idea here is to build a portable audience. That means getting your members onto something you control, like a newsletter. The key takeaway is this. You want to own your audience list, not just rent followers from a platform that could change its algorithm on you overnight. Let's end on this final idea because it just perfectly reframes the whole mission. The goal isn't to build the next Facebook. It's to be the digital clubhouse for a specific group of people. A safe, valuable space for a niche that feels totally misunderstood on those massive, noisy platforms. Honestly, that's a much more achievable and way more meaningful goal. So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Don't just think about what content you want to create. Think about what specific group of people you truly want to serve. What digital clubhouse are you going to build? Thanks for joining me.